welcome to my watch review of a Citizen model BL5470-06A, which is part of their Eco-Drive Perpetual calendar line. Now, this watch, as I said, is from Citizen, which is one of the great Japanese watch companies, which started back in around 1918, and is part of their Eco-Drive line, which started in 1995 and has become a key technology for them that many of their watches incorporate. It is basically a solar-powered watch where the dial itself is somewhat translucent and the solar cells are underneath, which then store the battery in a capacitor, which they say, if the watch is put in complete darkness, can still run for 6 months. The watch is a beautifully polished stainless steel casing with a nice brown leather straps with white stitching. The dial is a brilliantly reflective silver with white hands and white hour markers, with black subdials at the 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock position. All of this makes the watch a very beautiful piece, almost a dress watch in appearance, especially with the nice brown leather strap. Yet the face of the watch is designed more of a military field style, making it extremely easy to read. The combination of which makes this watch very suitable for either casual or dress situations. As well as the beautifully reflective silver dial make this watch very different and almost unique among many of the other watches I have seen. One of the things I like about this watch are the hour number indicators, specifically how the lume is applied directly to them, so that when this watch is in the dark and you can see the lume itself, it gives it a nice, easy to read but somewhat unique appearance with a nice bluish tint. Now, the key feature of this watch is that it is a perpetual calendar watch, where you set the date once and you never have to adjust it regardless of month or leap year. The other features of this watch is that it has a chronograph, alarm, and a second time zone. Now, in order to access these extra features, that's where this watch is a little different to me. It's kind of like going from an analog to a digital experience. You pull the crown out once, and then if you look at the subdial at the 6 o'clock position, as you rotate the crown, the arrow will rotate to whatever feature you want, such as the alarm. Or a second time zone, which is then mirrored to the original time zone. You just tell it how many hours off you want. And finally, you also have a chronograph. When you push the crown back in, it kind of sets it in that mode. And to use the chronograph, use it like any other chronograph. Push the first button to start it, put it to stop it, and the bottom to reset it. You can then pull the crown back out one click and move it back to the regular time feature. Now, I won't go through how to set the watch. It's a little complicated and a little different, needless to say. There are other YouTube videos and other guides on how to do that. As I was saying, it's a little unique, as moving the crown is not directly connected to the hands themselves, and in many ways, like I was saying, it's kind of going from an analog to a digital experience. And I'll briefly illustrate that. Now, in order to set the time, you pull the crown out twice. You can see the second hand spin around. You can then push the top button for it to kind of move around. The second hand goes to the 12 o'clock position. And then as you turn the crown, you can kind of feel it go and click, and every click it'll move 1 minute. If you turn it really fast, it'll kind of go on by itself till you turn it to stop. To go further and set the perpetual calendar, you then kind of go on from there, but as I said, I'm not going to show it because it is a little complicated. But if you just want to change the time after you've already set the perpetual calendar, you can then just push the crown back in. Now, for the dimensions of the watch, the casing itself is 44 millimeters without the crown. And about 47 millimeters with the crown. The watch strap itself being 22 millimeters. The watch itself has about a 12 millimeter thickness. Now here's the watch on my 7-inch wrist. I think it's a good size. It's not too big, not too small, with a decent thickness. And that brilliant silver dial just gives it a very unique, beautiful look. All in all, I think it's a very beautiful watch. One that shouldn't necessarily give you any trouble. You never need to change the battery. And while the digital crown seems a little weird, you never really have to play with it other than a few times a year. The second time zone makes it extremely useful for traveling, as well as an alarm and the chronograph if you need them. As I said, the brilliant silver dial with the black subdials gives it a very beautiful, unique look that could go from casual to formal. The only downside that I see is the complication to set the Perpetual calendar, which hopefully you only ever have to do once. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you can see more of my reviews as they come.